Please like and share the video. Nope, stop. Please like and share the video. Like and share the video. Welcome to Worst Day of the Week Live. Welcome to Worst Day of the Week Live. Please remember to like and share the video. Worst Day of the Week is getting ready to start in just a second. Got some good stuff for you today. Can't wait to talk to y'all. I missed y'all last week. Worst Day of the Week Live with Denard Andre is getting ready.
Worst day of the week.
It's gonna be a good day, even on my worst day. Nothing makes me smile more than hanging with my family. LOLs and good times, yeah, that's how we mob it. No filters on the real is. Say something, get it poppin'. Laughing is good for the soul. Keep it 100, yeah, you already know. Not Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but the worst day of the week. It's not Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but the worst day of the week. Yeah.
Worst day of the week.
Worst day of the week. Yeah.
Worst Day of the Week is all the way live. Welcome to another episode of Worst Day of the Week live with Denard Andre. We are so happy to have you here today. I got my cousin with me, Latricia Lindsey. So happy to speak with her again. Yes. Can't wait to get into it with you. Get into the conversation.
I feel like I don't know.
Please remember to like and share the video. Please. We are going to get started with the news that you can use. We're going to start the show off right now with the news that you can use. Matthew McConaughey is drawing, according to a recent poll, Matthew McConaughey is drawing more support to be Texas's next governor than incumbent governor Greg Abbott.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he needs to go.
Early voting is underway for Texas. May 1st, election votes. Voters will be deciding on issues that affect the lives of Texans across the state. For the second consecutive year, an entire class of medical students at Texas Christian University and University of North Texas Health Science Center School of Medicine is receiving the gift of free tuition.
That's what's up. Oh my goodness, that is amazing.
Dozens of abortion-related measures have been filed this legislative session, including one that would open up abortion providers to criminal charges that carry the death penalty.
Hold on, say that again.
Dozens of abortion-related measures have been filed this legislative session, including one that would open up abortion providers to criminal charges that carry the death penalty.
That's wild.
In an 84-56 vote, the Texas House advanced House Bill 1927, a measure that would do away with the license to carry laws. That is the news that you can use. Now, remember, the news that you can use is not what I say. It's not what my mama say. It's not what Worst Day of the Week say. The news is just that. It's not what Latricia Lindsey
Right.
say.
I ain't got nothing to do with
It's just the
it.
news that you can use. Now, you need to be paying attention to what's going on in your city, in your state, in your town, around and about, and everywhere, all over. Make sure that you are paying attention to what's going on around you, and that you're watching the news. Okay?
And you know that the jury is out now
The jury's out on what?
on the George Floyd.
Oh, really?
Derek Chauvin.
So there's a verdict.
No, they're
No.
in deliberation.
Oh, they're in
So everybody,
deliberation.
yeah, the
Okay, because I hadn't been following it. I hadn't
yes.
been
And do
really.
you know the
Hmm.
defense attorney, his closing arguments was 3.5 hours long.
Wow, 3.5 hours long.
And it made no sense. No sense. So I tried to make it through, but
Uh
they
oh, we having
kept,
some camera issues.
oh, are we? Is there,
Uh oh, let me get up.
where's the IT ministry?
The IT ministry.
Yes, honey, where is the IT ministry?
All right, don't worry, y'all. We're gonna have to fix that
Mm-hmm.
just a second.
Because, they want to see me. I mean, you.
They want to see us.
Yes, honey.
All right. Okay, we back up. Is there any other issues? Huh?
We running?
Okay. All right. Okay, we
Okay.
good. Yes, we do. We have some.
I mean, they don't call it the worst day of the week for
Worst day
nothing,
of the
right?
week live.
It's always
It's
somebody
always
hating.
live. It's live on
It's
7 o'clock,
always,
live
you know
on
what I'm talking
Facebook
about,
and live
cousin?
on YouTube.
It's always somebody hating out in the universe.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna rebuke that spirit. So,
Absolutely.
welcome to the show again, my guest Latricia Lindsey. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
So excited.
So you were here before,
Yes.
and a couple of weeks before that, I had a show about adoption. I had Tiffany Alexander.
Mhm.
Make sure y'all check out Tiffany Alexander, Black and Adopted. You can check that out on Facebook.
Mhm.
She has a Facebook page. You can follow her story about being Black and adopted. So we had a conversation about y'all hush that now. We had a conversation about adoption, and you have a story about adoption. Tell the viewers a little bit about that.
Absolutely. First, I want to give a shout out to my shirt,
Mhm.
MOBS, which stands for Mom of Black Sons.
Okay.
And as we know, our Black boys are
Hmm.
targets right now.
Yes, they are.
So I technically have raised 2 sons, but
Mhm.
I've given birth to 3.
Mm.
Not a lot of people know this about me. They
Mhm.
don't really know this part of my story if they came
Mhm.
into my life after the fact.
Okay.
But when I was 14 years old,
Mm.
I got pregnant.
Mhm.
Very first time me having sex, and I got pregnant.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, because of the type of father that I have
Mhm.
or had at the time, because he's no longer like that,
Mhm.
he was very abusive. And I was afraid to say anything. I
Mhm.
was scared. I literally hid my pregnancy because if you didn't notice, I'm pretty thick.
Yeah.
Um, I hid my pregnancy for 7 months.
Mm.
My dad's girlfriend at the time, her name was Sheila, love her to death. She told me, Ned, I'm gonna take you. That's my middle name is Lynette. She
Mhm.
said, Ned, I'm gonna take you to the doctor. Now, prior to this, I had never been to the doctor.
Mhm.
Had never had a well woman or a physical
No
or
kind of
checkup.
checkup.
Nothing.
Didn't play any sports. Didn't need to
No.
get a physical.
I mean, it was a bad thing that I was even having my menstrual cycle.
Okay.
Um, so she took me to the doctor, and the doctor was talking to me and everything. And she asked me, had I ever,
Mhm.
had I started my menstrual?
Mhm.
And I told her I had it. And she asked me when was the last time I had it, and I couldn't remember.
Mhm.
So she had me lay back on a table, and she took out this machine, and she put some stuff on my stomach.
Mhm.
She put some stuff on my stomach and took this like microphone thing
Mhm.
and was rubbing it around my stomach, and then I heard a heart.
Mhm.
And I know my heart is up here,
Mhm.
but why is there a heartbeat down here? And prior to this, not knowing anything about pregnancy,
Mhm. 14 years old.
14,
Mhm.
I didn't know that the baby was moving or if the baby was alive. I didn't know any of that.
Mhm.
So had Sheila not, in her womanly, motherly instincts, took me to the doctor,
Mhm.
I could have gone into labor at school.
Mm.
I could have gone into labor at home and nobody would have known what was wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
So the doctor did that, and I looked at her and she looked at me. She said, "Well, Latricia, you're pregnant."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "What? I've only had sex one time." And she said, "Well, and I think you're possibly about 6 to 7 months along."
Mm-hmm.
School had just started. I was attending Skyline. I was in the ninth grade.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I wasn't prepared
Mm-hmm.
for that. And so the doctor took me into her office and
Mm-hmm.
Sheila came in. She already knew.
Mm-hmm.
And so that part was done. And the next step was telling my dad.
Yeah.
And we had to tell him
Mm-hmm.
rather quickly because the baby was
Almost here.
due in December.
Mm-hmm.
So I went outside and no, my dad and Sheila went outside.
Mm.
And the next thing I heard was my name being called from the front of the house to the back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was in the back and they were calling me to the front. And as soon as I walked out, my father punched me in the face.
Mm.
So I fell back. And as I stood up, he slapped me. And he slapped me. And he choked me. And he slapped me until I was backed completely into the couch. And then he got on top of me and he started calling me out of my name.
Mm-hmm.
And he just kept hitting me and he socked me in the stomach. Then he grabbed me and he slung me around the living room. Then I slid into the kitchen. When I slid into the kitchen, he opened a drawer and grabbed a butcher knife. That was about this long. Mm-hmm. And Sheila was screaming, "Please, George, please, you're going to kill her. Please, George." And he was just saying, "I don't give a expletive. She's a hoe. She's a bitch. I don't give a frick. Her life is over." And finally, he stopped beating me. I could only see out of one eye. I was spitting out blood. I was spitting out teeth. And I was just curled up in a ball on the couch. And he finally got up off of me. And Sheila helped me get to my bedroom. Got to my bedroom. And then he swung the door back open and came back in and Sheila grabbed him. Now I'm shaking at this point because I don't know what to do. And now he's asking about the young man. I told, his name was Jonathan. I told him when I found out, he was ecstatic. So once that calmed down and settled, I went to school with a black eye. Teachers were asking me what was wrong. I was running down the hall, slid into the wall trying to answer the phone. Because I knew if I told them that my father had done this to me, I would go to a home, a foster home. And I loved my daddy. I still love my daddy to this day. It's not his fault that he was an abuser because he was a victim of abuse. And until you, like we talked about, break that cycle, it'll keep going. So I had a decision to make. And once it was determined that I was pregnant, I began to bond with my baby. And I began to talk to my baby. And I began to pray and ask God what to do. And God said, give your baby up to a family where the baby will be safe.
Sorry about that video, y'all. Just the audio going. I'm so sorry about that to interrupt your story.
No problem. Um, and at this time, my mother was living in California.
Mm-hmm.
She was battling some addictions
Mm-hmm.
and things of that nature. But we've always had a beautiful, very close relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I called my mommy and I talked to her. She understood. She
Mm-hmm.
prayed with me. She cried with me. And when I told her that I wanted to put the baby up for adoption, absolutely not. You bring that baby to this family. We'll take care of that baby
Mm-hmm.
and we'll raise that baby. You finish school, and that's a part of our family. We don't give our children away.
Mm-hmm.
But when I told my father,
Mm-hmm.
he was on board. Absolutely, that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
You should do that because you don't need to have no baby. No.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I felt like I wouldn't have been able to protect my child from him.
Mm-hmm.
And not just that, my stepmother had just given birth. I'm sorry. And not just that, my stepmother, she couldn't protect me.
Mm-hmm.
And so at 14, carrying a baby
Mm-hmm.
that I had not gotten one lick of prenatal care for until I was in my third trimester. He was thriving, had a heartbeat, and deserved every right to live,
Mm-hmm.
every right to be raised in a loving home.
How hard was the decision to put him up for adoption instead of giving him to your mother like she had?
Because my father said no.
Mm-hmm.
So it was either him or that.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew from being loved by mothers and my grandmothers and my aunties
Mm-hmm.
how strong that love can be. And I felt like if he would have done anything out of line to my child, I would have killed him.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love my daddy. And I'm not ready to raise no child.
Mm-hmm.
I have days where I want to kill myself
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to be hit anymore. I don't want to be called out of my name anymore. I don't want to suffer that abuse anymore. And I had already been suffering from it for 4 years already
What was one of the reasons that you stayed with your dad instead of your mom?
because my mother was addicted to drugs. And my grandmother, which was my mother's mother, wanted to take care of me, but she wanted to be able to get assistance from the state with me.
Mm-hmm.
And my father was like, my baby ain't going on no welfare. Send my child to me. And my
Mm-hmm.
father has always worked. He's
Mm-hmm.
always provided.
Mm-hmm.
So my grandmother felt like she didn't have a hand in it
Mm-hmm.
because he's my father.
Mm-hmm. So it was your first time having sex at 14, first time you got pregnant.
During spring break,
And the father, you said he was excited. What did his parents say? What did his parents think about putting the baby up for adoption?
they were hurt in the beginning once it all came out and my dad, found out who it was. He literally threatened him and everybody in his family.
Mm-hmm.
If you contact my daughter, if I find out you've seen her, you've been around her, you're gonna have problems on your hands.
Were you two the same age?
He was 16.
16. Okay. Was he also at your school?
No, he lived in Granny's neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
Not like this.
Everybody know when you go to your grandma's house, you got a little boob wrapped on it. Oh, big
So
set.
yeah, and we would go to the park and
Mm-hmm.
hang out. And he was really a great guy. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't take advantage of me and anything. And we
Hmm.
had been friends for like 7 months prior to that.
Okay.
And it happened.
Tell me a little bit about the contact. Do you have contact with your son now?
That's an amazing story.
Mm-hmm.
So I just I know from my life experiences that God has always and continues to have his hand on me,
Yes.
his angels
Hmm.
around me. I just gotta trust him. I
What a
can't
wonderful
make my
feeling.
own decisions, but say I trust him. So when I gave birth to my son, I named him Reginald Eugene
Mm-hmm.
Lindsey. Now, the this was back in 1988,
Mm-hmm.
and the adoptions were really strict
Mm-hmm.
and private, and pretty much once it's done, it's
It's
done.
done.
But the adoption worker and the nurses in the hospital
Mm-hmm.
just adored me and allowed Reginald to come in the room with me. And
Mm-hmm.
he spent the night with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked him in his eyes and I told him how much I love him. And I'm sorry that I was not able to do this. And that I know if I have to sacrifice my life for his,
Mm-hmm.
then Lord, make sure that he has an amazing life. Make sure that he's successful. Make sure he's protected. Make sure that he goes to a good family with a mom and a dad that's going to love him. But never, ever, ever, never let him forget. I love him. His dad loves him.
Mm-hmm.
And so when they brought the adoption papers to me,
Mm-hmm.
there was a piece of notebook paper way in the back. And I put my last name, and the country that I was born in, thank you, and the country that I was born in because I wasn't born in the United
Mm-hmm.
States. Now, I put it in the back so only the social worker would see it because my father still had to sign papers as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the adoption caseworker knew. And when I'm sorry, that's his new name,
Mm-hmm.
was adopted, they received this paperwork
Mm-hmm.
and it was folded. And my son's adoptive parents held on to it.
Mm-hmm.
He was adopted by a beautiful white family. He grew up
Mm-hmm.
in New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm.
He loves golf.
Mm-hmm.
So she shared it with him. And just one day, he decided to look me up on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And I received a message from a gentleman named Tyler James.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I'm not really into the Facebook messaging. I think it's spooky. But I looked at it and I let a few days pass, and then he reached out again.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I opened up the message, he said, "Hello, my name is Tyler James. I was born on December 5th, 1988, in Dallas, Texas. I think you're my birth mom." I thought I could do this. I'm
That's okay.
sorry.
Not a problem.
I couldn't catch my breath.
Mm.
I looked at his pictures and he looked just like my son. He looked just like me. He looked just like Jonathan. And he's alive. He's well.
What did it feel like to get what you prayed for?
Whew.
Everything that you asked for,
Oh, Jesus.
and as far as it goes with the adoption, what does it feel like to have received that? What kind of joy did you feel when you saw that message in your messenger?
It was breathtaking.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't deny it. He looked just like my dad.
Mm-hmm.
His first grandson.
Mm-hmm.
He had them Lindsey eyes,
Mm-hmm.
my complexion, my smile, my dimples. He was
Mm-hmm.
my baby.
Yeah.
I couldn't deny it.
Yeah.
Um, and now I had to tell my sons
Mm-hmm.
they have a big brother. My oldest son, who thought he was my oldest son, is not my oldest son
Mm-hmm.
because I never thought I would have to share this.
Mm.
Not right now,
Yeah.
not until maybe life
Mm-hmm.
changed and
Mm-hmm.
something was about to happen and you need to know this.
Yeah.
And I shared it with them and they were excited.
Mm.
I had a best friend named Tanya Knight, who went through this with me, knew a lot of things that I was going through, a lot of my secrets. Again, the social workers, the ladies in the hospital, they gave me 2 pictures of him.
Mm.
And I gave them to Tanya because I was scared if my found them, what would happen. And she kept until we got that call.
Mm.
Those who were in my life at that time, just in awe, like, thank God, thank you, Jesus. And then my father,
Mm-hmm.
my daddy, was over the moon.
Mm.
I want to talk to my grandson. I want to apologize to him because I never should have made you make the type of decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Your papa love you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you found us.
Mm.
And that's healing.
Mm-hmm.
And because I made that sacrifice, and when I got pregnant with my boys, I knew that I was going to be the best mom that I could be
Mm-hmm.
because I got another chance.
Mm-hmm.
And I never stopped thinking about Reginald Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
I never stopped loving him. And when we had our very first conversation, those were the things that I told him.
Mm-hmm.
You were not given away because you were not loved.
Mm-hmm.
I loved you that much
Mm.
to sacrifice my life, my happiness
Was,
to make sure.
was he receptive of that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I forgive you.
Mm-hmm.
I forgive you, birth mom.
Is that what he called you?
Yes,
Mom?
and
That's
it's so
cute.
adorable.
Mm-hmm.
And he grew up in a loving family.
Yeah.
His parents were white. I think I want to say his father is an engineer, his mother a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and then they adopted a Filipino daughter. So he has 3 sisters. He's the only boy. He currently lives in Arizona playing golf. He does yoga. I mean, just an awesome, awesome young man.
Yeah.
God is good.
Yes, he is.
He's amazing. And if we continue to hold on to him, trust him, no matter what, we make mistakes.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of people who are on this side of my life who
Mm-hmm.
didn't even know that about me.
Yeah.
And my son knows that I love him.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever he wants to talk, whenever he reaches out to me, he wishes me happy birthday.
Yeah.
Just, it's still love.
Mm-hmm.
It's love. And that's all I can ever just be humbly, gratefully honored and thankful for.
How does it feel to talk about it? I know you've been a bit emotional, but how does it feel to release that? Like you said, not too many people know that about you. To really put it out there for people to see.
Yes.
How does that make you feel? Is it like a release for you?
It's empowering because it lets people know that who they see right now, it's a whole lot of layers behind that.
Yeah.
And that was something that was very traumatic in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, now that a lot of people know that I was abused as a child,
Mm-hmm.
and they would never be able to tell that by the type of relationship that I have with my father,
Mm-hmm.
because I've forgiven him. That's the best thing you can do for yourself,
Forgive those
is
who hurt
to
you.
forgive, forget, and then it's for you,
Mm-hmm.
because they're not necessarily going to be receptive, or they
Mm-hmm.
may just continue to overcompensate
Yes.
because they feel like, I know I've done you wrong,
Mm-hmm.
so please forgive me. You have to accept it.
Mm.
Whoever who's asking for your forgiveness, they have to be able to
Yes.
receive your forgiveness.
Yes.
And I want people to know, in certain situations, I'm on both sides now. I was a mom who's given up her child for adoption,
Mm-hmm.
and that child came back
Mm-hmm.
with open arms.
Yeah.
Wasn't angry at me, wasn't
Mm-hmm.
bitter, because he could have been.
Yeah.
Because things could have happened to him, and he felt like, had I not
Mm-hmm.
given
Giving
him
him up.
up, he wouldn't have gone through those things.
Yes.
For me, being a 14-year-old mother,
Mm-hmm.
I knew better.
Mm-hmm.
I knew better.
Yeah. That's a really, really powerful story, and I know
Excuse
so
me.
many people need to hear it. There's so many people who've gone through something similar,
I know by myself
and
choke.
some of those stories don't always end up so positive with a good outcome. Some people never hear from the child again,
Right,
and they never get to feel that love
right.
again. They never
Mhm.
they never get that, and
And
that's
he was able
beautiful.
to meet his uncles, his aunts, his great aunts,
Hmm.
his great grandmother.
Yeah.
So hopefully, as time continues
Hmm.
on, because I also just found out
Hmm.
that Melvin, which is my oldest,
Nardi.
and his brother communicate.
Hmm.
They text each other.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Hmm.
And I didn't even know.
Yeah,
I didn't even know.
that's awesome.
So
They have
yeah,
that big brother and little brother relationship. That's really beautiful. That's awesome.
absolutely,
That's amazing. And I
absolutely.
bet Melvin that really appreciates that and having that.
Yeah, and
That's
he
awesome.
he embraced me. He didn't, make me feel
Hmm.
like a bad person, or why did you give up my brother? You didn't. I mean, none of that.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
he held me because I cried,
Uh huh.
cried and cried and cried. My church family
Yeah.
embraced me
Mm-hmm.
because I cried, I cried, I cried. It's a testimony.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a testimony.
Yes, it is.
It's a part of my life. It's a
Mm-hmm.
part of who I am as a person. I'm not ashamed of it.
Yeah.
I was 14. I made a mistake. I didn't know what I was doing. And because the Lord put Sheila in my life,
Mm-hmm.
my baby wasn't born on the bathroom floor.
Yeah.
My baby wasn't born with an umbilical cord wrapped around his neck and we didn't know why.
Mm.
Or in a situation where I'm just going, did
Yeah.
nobody see it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful. I'm appreciative. And it's a part of who I am.
Yes. And I want to thank you so much for sharing that story with me in the Viewers of Worst Day of the Week live. Um, people always ask me, what does Worst Day of the Week mean? And does it mean that you have to share something that's bad, that's not good? And it does not mean that. Worst Day of the Week is just Monday. It's the worst day of the week.
Yeah, especially after
And
you
so
had a weekend like mine, because it was my birthday.
turn up weekend.
It's my birthday. You know what I'm
Happy
talking
belated
about?
birthday to you. I
Yes,
would sing to
honey.
you, but I'm my octaves ain't my allergies, and then so the pollen was outside, and then
The
I
pollen
had
was
yeah.
outside, and you sucked it in
I would sing, I would.
your
But thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Such an amazing story. It's really beautiful how it came together at the end, how it ends,
Right.
and that it's not ended. It's
No,
that it's still going. That you're able to
absolutely.
continue that and it's beautiful. That's really, really amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Absolutely.
We're gonna get right on to the end of the show, which is what the what time. Y'all know when it's what the what time. What the what? That's exactly how you yes. What the what? And so it is what the what time. That is when I take all those funny, thought-provoking, not so funny, encouraging, not so encouraging things that I've seen all over Facebook and Instagram and the Twitter and TikTok and Snapchat and all of
that. That sounds like a drink. I'll take one, please.
Who's speaking? See, my first what the what
Okay.
is just what I was just talking about.
What?
That pollen sticking to some of y'all teeth.
I don't know. I don't know if I trust that that's the first thing that popped
That's
up,
the first thing
or
that
if it's
popped
some
up on my
fugazi,
what.
or if it's some
No.
fugazi going
That's the
on in the
first thing
plan.
that popped
Yes,
up
honey. No.
on my timeline. When you are single, nobody likes you. But when you are in a serious relationship, boom, crushes, admirers, witches, wizards, and even ghosts appear.
So let me put that in the words of your girl Cupcake. Don't nobody want no spam till you make you a sandwich. Hallelujah. I said hallelujah.
Don't nobody want no
spam till you make you a sandwich. Yes, sir.
So the thing with that is that when you're single and when you're down, like because single is almost kind of being like, it's not depressing, but you just kind of down. You don't really care how you going about that. So when you're single.
Let me know when you finish.
When you're single,
So
you don't really care.
So I can speak for the single people since now
when you're in a
married.
relationship, then you kind of glow differently. You got a little sparkle in your eye.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna look right at the camera on this one.
Go ahead and tell me.
Even though the producer ministry told me not to do that. Just in case you guys are wondering, I am single.
Oh Lord.
And if you can't see the glow, baby, I need you to wipe that lens and adjust your camera. I don't know what Brother Denard Andre is speaking of or what single people he has in his life, but I think my glow look good.
It look good.
I'm available for lunch, dinner, ice cream, and I'll even let you meet me at the grocery store with your EBT card. But this is how single really looks.
Oh, okay.
And I'm having a ball. Not saying I don't want no man.
Okay.
But you know what I'm talking about?
Call me.
The Cupcake 74 on the Insta.
Speaking of Cupcake, that is your stage name, your comic stage name.
Yes, sir.
I saw that you had a comedy show. You just performed somewhere. Why didn't know nothing about that?
Okay, so I was asked to come to an open mic with a beautiful friend of mine. Love her so much. And I'm thinking we going in for people.
Yeah.
Next thing I hear is coming to the stage, Cupcake.
Oh.
I said, who done stole my name up in this thing? Let me go get that trademark.
Yeah.
And they looking, I said, oh, they're talking to me.
They talking to you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And I got up there and I just literally freestyle.
Whitey and Pissy like that.
Yeah, exactly. I hadn't written anything. I just get up there and tell the truth. Like my 10-year-old, your little baby cousin, he's sending me through some things.
Yeah.
And I just find a funny way of telling it.
Yeah.
But I'm doing a showcase on July 3rd.
July the 3rd.
Yes, I don't have all the details.
I'm gonna put that on my calendar.
Yes,
just the date.
But if you follow me on the Insta, I'll follow you and I'll keep everybody abreast. And I'm also doing another podcast on this 30. It's called Money Makers.
Money Makers. Okay. Oh, get that money.
I know, And my whole thing is I love being on stage. I love performing.
Yes.
But my first priority is being a mother. And if to do entertainment and being a mother, something is going to suffer. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'd rather
that's why the date all the way in July.
Exactly.
Now
Because he's going to be in California. You know it's going to be hot mama summer.
This is my next what the what? Wife, I'm pissed. Husband, again or still? Nobody apologized for how they treated me. They just blamed me for how I reacted. That's
Yeah,
some deep stuff right
that one right there, I get that
Mhm.
one a lot, and
Yeah.
it's amazing because
Mhm.
I can take a lot of stuff, but
Yeah.
then when they like,
Mhm.
see, you shouldn't have been.
I've been really good because I've been working on that. I haven't been, in
Okay.
a very long time.
Oh.
It really feels good.
Uh-huh.
Today I did. I had it was
Oh
the worst day of the
no,
week
no,
for
I
me.
thought that only
And so-
single
and
people
so-
act like that.
Oh no, it wasn't towards my baby. No. It was something else. And so, but you have those moments, and then you try not to really blow everything out of proportion.
Mhm.
It's better to go home and think on it, sleep on it, and then they figure out what to say or not say anything at all. Mhm.
I wouldn't recommend sleeping on it.
Yeah.
Mainly because you're not guaranteed to wake up the next day.
Yeah.
That person's not guaranteed to wake up the next
Yeah.
day.
So
So
just
it's
let
not really good to go to sleep on those things. But it's cool to address them,
That's a good
in
way
a
to put it.
calm,
Mhm.
in a calm manner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Drink you something, smoke you a turkey or two.
No, I'm not doing none of that because that ain't gonna make me be calm. Some people are still mad at you because you survived after they threw you under the bus, but the bus ran over their lives. That's amazing, right there. I really like that. A lot of people will say things about you
Mhm.
and do things to you, and they will lie on you, and you
Mhm.
don't even have to act. You don't have to. You don't even have to clear shit up.
You know why? You know why?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Be offense. Be offense.
The most difficult pill to swallow is realizing people do not care. They'll hurt you and really go on about their lives, not even slightly affected about what they did to you and how you feel, regardless if it's friendships, relationships, or family. One thing I would say about that is that you don't want to stress over it. You want to let those things go.
But that's ugly, though.
Yeah, it is. But you don't want to think about your past and how people used to hurt you and what, because you'll be stuck there.
Oh yeah, that's where the forgiveness thing ties in.
Yes.
Again, you forgive them.
Yes.
Because forgiveness, first and foremost, is for you.
For me.
Not the person you're forgiving.
That's right.
Because they don't even have to receive it.
They don't.
And then if they do receive it, who's to say you guys are going to move any further?
That's right.
And that's the part that may be hurtful too, because you're like, I'm asking for forgiveness, or I'm forgiving you, but I still want us to be cool. And that person's like, nah, I'm good.
My next what the one says, cheat on them. And if you feel bad about it, then they are the one.
Did you just
it's not my what the what. I didn't write
you
it.
couldn't find another one? Excuse me. Another cupcake disclaimer.
One man's cougar is another man's grandmother.
What? Boy, hold on. Cut. Can we black that out?
I like this one.
I
am
a grandmama.
This one I like. Start a business, $999. Too much. Buy a new phone, $999. No problem. Healthy groceries, $100. Too much. Dinner and drinks, $100. No problem. Watch Netflix, 2 hours. One more episode. Learn a new skill, 2 hours. Ooh, I don't have time for that.
Oh.
Life is about choices. Stop blaming the lack of opportunity. Do you think there's opportunity out there for everybody?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what? When I was
enough.
living with my mom and sleeping in her spare room, hey mama,
Amy,
I miss my bed. It's just a joke. I'm not
I was
coming
about
back.
to say,
Don't let me back.
I'm triggered, Amy. I'm triggered.
And so when I was going through that, my stepdad, AC, he used to come upstairs all the time. He said, "Hey, you looking for a job?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm looking." People who look for jobs find them. So I was not looking for it. I was lying. I just didn't want to. Life is about choices. When I did decide to look for a job, I got one in a week, and here I am today, back working. But I didn't want to work at the time. I was really needing some time off. You ain't never needed no time off?
No, I like to.
I'm sorry, I lied, AC.
I'm sorry, he lied too. He was not raised that way.
I wasn't.
Our granny still works.
I be thinking I be cool with people whole time. They don't even like me.
Oh,
that's crazy.
I get
you ever
that
hung
a
with
lot.
people that you
and it hurt my feelings. I'm so sensitive.
Yeah.
Even being a comedian, I'm really sensitive because your main thing is you love people.
Stop
and you
that,
want.
Whitey.
Yeah, girl, go on now. You wa-
Pissy, that's pissy. Yeah, I know pissy.
clearly,
Yeah, that's
she
pissy.
need to go outside and fly in the pollen or something. But I want people to like me because I am a lover of people,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a little hurtful when people don't like me because I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's so lovable.
Oh, girl. If you see a problem, start a business. That's my last what the what. If you see a problem, start a business. That's a good one. I like that. You don't like that? Yeah, if you go into to do the drive-through and it wasn't professional enough for you, I'm not saying start cooking out your kitchen and selling
No,
plates.
what I was
No.
gonna say is if you single, then maybe I'll start like a meet and greet.
Oh, that's your new business. That does not sound wonderful.
You
to
just
me.
said if I see a problem, I see a problem in the dating industry.
So you're gonna start. Okay, I'm gonna have you on again,
Okay,
and we're gonna have some dating,
but
some
I don't think
matchmaking.
I think it's only legal in Vegas at the Dude Ranch. The kind of
You trying to sell something? Oh Lord, that's all the show. That's all the show we got for today. Want to thank y'all so much for tuning in. The worst day of the week, live with the Denard Andre,
with Cupcake.
live on Facebook, live on YouTube. Want to thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget you can go back and watch other episodes of Worst Day of the Week live right here on Facebook or YouTube. Right here on YouTube. Don't forget that I will be back next Monday. I got a really, really, really special guest for y'all next Monday, y'all. I can't announce it yet, but I got a really special guest for y'all. Y'all stay tuned, and I will see y'all ass next week.
Can
Bye-bye.
I give y'all my Instagram?
Worst day of the week.
Can I give you my Instagram?
Bite down. Worst day of the week.
Not the Instagram.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
All the way.
am I still on?
Take the mic on.
Worst day of the
They
week.
want me. They want me.
It's gonna be a good day.
Hey.
Even on my worst day.
Hey.
Nothing makes me smile more than hanging with my family. LOLs and good times. Yeah, that's how we mob it. No filters on the real deal. Say something, get it poppin'. Laughing is good for the soul. Keep it 100, yeah, you already know. Not Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but the worst day of the week. It's not Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but the worst day